Tundra Nation, and welcome back to the channel. Tax season, well, it's upon us. And while some of you might be thinking about things like responsible financial decisions, the rest of us, well, we've decided to let our love of firearms overwhelm sound planning and put our collective credit score lower than an ATF agent's IQ.
Since I, unlike you, I'm not a firearms expert to the same extent as you may be.
So before you start calculating how many cans of beans you're going to need to buy to afford that pallet of ammo, or start Googling things like, is a gold-plated AK tax deductible, let's dive into the best ways to convert Uncle Sam's annual apology into some sweet, sweet firepower.
Tundra Tactical is not a financial planner or purveyor of financial advice. None of its employees even know where their checkbooks are or how much money they actually make. Don't take financial advice from a YouTuber. We tend to spend all of our money on beer and ammunition.
Roll up, Tundra Nation, and feast your eyes on the first marvel of fiscal irresponsibility, the Budget Blaster. If your tax return were a movie, well, it'd be simply straight to VHS. Yep, we're looking at you, the guy who calls buying scratcher tickets. You must be playing the market, huh? The guy whose 401k looks more like a 401, are you okay?
God, that was lame. Where did you get that?
These guns are for the high rollers, for those whose investments involve putting all of their cash into a firearm that screams, I might live on ramen noodles, but my end of the day arsenal is going to be Michelin star worthy. Welcome to a tax bracket where luxury means having enough ammo and toilet paper to last an entire weekend. This segment is dedicated to those whose bank statements are sadder than the part in The Lion King where Mufasa dies. So what does a budget blaster spend that sweet, sweet tax relief on? Well, you're going to need a statement piece that cries out something like, yes, I'm broke, but at least I'm ready for the big igloo with my cardboard fort of solitude. So congratulations on prioritizing bangs over bucks. Your economic wisdom might be on par with buying stock in Blockbuster. Do I even know what I'm doing? I finished the take, right? I did finish the take, didn't I? Somehow he has a YouTube channel with over 100,000 people watching. What's wrong with you? But hey, when the apocalypse hits, we're confident your pistol will be a high point C9. Often the butt of the gun community's jokes, this pistol's low price point attracts those whose tax refund was more of a tax condolence. It's as pretty as a mud fence, but it gets the job done, making it a staple for the budget-conscious gun owner. If you wanted an alternative option, you could look at a Ruger Wrangler and 22 long rifle. This single-action revolver is the financial equivalent of finding an extra fry at the bottom of the bag. Affordable and fun to shoot, the Wrangler allows you to practice your cowboy quick draw without needing to auction off an actual kidney. Still too soon, Kush?
Man, I'm dead.
Losing your dignity by showing up at the range dressed like an extra in Blazing Saddles, well, that, my friends, is just priceless. Oh yeah, and if we're talking about rifles, we gotta say, your rifle is definitely an Anderson AR-15. The beloved poverty pony. Buying an Anderson, folks, that's like I don't know, it's like buying a lottery ticket with your last dollar in your pocket. Hope springs eternal, but the pragmatic part of your brain, well, it's preparing an I told you so speech. Hey, if you want something that will actually run and was made to standards, then you should check out CMMG and their new Mark 47 Descent, available in 16-inch and now 12.5-inch variants. Combined with these zeroed muzzle devices that come as standard, this is truly the next step in innovation for the fans of the 7.62x39 cartridge. If that's not your style, CMMG has something for everybody, from your standard ARs to 22 conversion kits and heck, even the 5.7 Banshee. CMMG has all your needs for quality guns to fit any role. So go click the link in the description below and get yourself an upgrade today. Oh yeah, don't forget to tell them Tundra sent you. Next up, we've got the Mid-Range Master. Now, this one is for those of you who got a decent enough tax return because you figured out how to claim your anime body pillow as a dependent. This gun, well, it's for the high-flying economist who's mastered the art of budgeting just enough to avoid sleeping on the couch permanently. You've got just enough green to flirt with the fine line between a firepower aficionado and marital celibacy.
Oh, please, Bonnie and I are stronger than ever.
Your marriage is over.
This gun right here is all about getting the best bang for your buck without needing to explain to your spouse why you can't afford to go to the destination wedding her two cousins are planning in Denton County, Texas. It's the perfect balance between pretending to be financially responsible and ensuring you're the first person your friends call when the juggalos go full zombie clown and attack. Welcome to the sweet spot where excitement meets practicality, like choosing between paying for your kid's college or buying that new optic. Spoiler alert, well, the optic won. With your taste limited by your sense of responsibility and your lack of imagination on your tax forms, the mid-range majesty is likely to end up with a Glock 19 Gen 5. Yep, it's the Honda Accord of the gun world. It's about as reliable as a public room soap dispenser and a heck of a lot more satisfying to show off to your friends. You have moved past the point of buying guns that double as paperweights, but you aren't just ready to commit to something that requires you to explain to your partner why your kid's college fund looks surprisingly and suspiciously low. Sure, you tell your spouse it's an investment, but deep down inside, you know it's the equivalent of buying store brand cereal. It all tastes the same, but you can't shake the feeling that you've compromised. Your rifle is a Ruger AR-556. It's the safe, the bland, the I wanted to be special forces but ended up in special financing choice for the mid-range master. Now, it's okay, buddy. Not everybody can be John Wick. I mean, what about Rocco Wick, his less interesting, financially responsible cousin? With that AR-556, you're armed, but at a level so vanilla that your riskiest engagement might as well just be defending the last donut at the office meeting. Slip into your Versace shooting gloves and adjust those diamond-studded safety glasses, folks. It's time to spotlight the baller. This segment is for the financial titans whose tax refunds come with their own zip codes, for the magnates who think budgeting is just that trendy new bar downtown. Yep, we're talking about the guy whose financial advice comes from a mix of Monopoly games, his dad's trust fund advisor, and coked-out hedge fund manager. Your Firearm, it's not just a purchase, it's a Broadway production featuring you in a leading role throwing money at a problem that just does not exist.
What the problem is?
Welcome, folks, to the realm where guns are less about shooting and more about answering existential questions like, can a nice pistol make up for my lackluster personality? I mean, maybe, but it's not going to do anything for those shooting skills, pal. The baller goes for the kind of firearms that don't just break the bank, they bully it into submission and then take its lunch money. We're talking guns so pricey that every shot fired is accompanied by the sweet serenade of an audio recording of your accountant softly weeping in the background on repeat. So what do you ask would we recommend for the baller? Well, when more money than sense is involved, there can only be one choice of pistol, or should we say pistols. Of course, in this case, our baller needs two. That's dual Desert Eagle Mark 19s and 50 Action Express, aka the Hollywood hype beast.
The fact that I've got Desert Eagle .50 written on the side of mine.
With its notoriety in cinema and a caliber that screams, I'm overcompensating for something, a gold-plated Desert Eagle is more than just a gun. It's a statement. It says, my budget is as expansive as my desire for attention. Tailor-made for the baller who seeks to simultaneously dazzle and deafen. Their presence at the range is just, it's a little too hard to ignore, no matter how much we all try.
3, 2, 1.
Our next enthusiast just recently purchased himself a 3D printer and is ready to become that gun designer he always wanted to be. I mean, why waste time on math and engineering when you can just hop right in and build things that explode very near to your face? What will our DIY or die tryhard turn his tax return into? Probably a lot of useless, very expensive plastic filament at first, and then, when his misguided ambition meets an alarming lack of supervision, Google tells him about the renaissance of frankengunning. A glorious time when anybody with a Wi-Fi connection and the bravery of a toddler armed with a permanent marker thought that they could build a firearm. With prices so low, you're practically losing money not embarking on this harrowing quest for mediocrity. For less than the cost of your dignity, you too can join the ranks of the backyard ballistic experts, piecing together what can only be described loosely as a firearm. This endeavor is for those who believe that some assembly is required is not a warning, but a challenge, a call to arms for the penny-pinching, YouTube-educated gunsmiths ready to demonstrate that, in fact, yes, you do get what you pay for. By the end of this journey, you'll have a mosaic of metal that makes less sense than a screen door on a submarine. And remember, when your creation finally ejects that first round sideways, take pride in knowing that the only thing more questionable than your engineering is your decision-making process. Congratulations, you've officially reached the peak of it seemed like a good idea at the time.
It's not a good look. I just don't know why he wanted to do that.
Likely, the DIYer will only have piles of filament that look suspiciously like the poop emoji with Down syndrome to show for all of his efforts. Sadly, he's going to be forced the route of the budget blaster, selling his malformed projects as dog toys on Etsy while scraping together just enough money to buy something like, I don't know, a Sky pistol and a Realm of Lottery tickets. Welcome to the future, buddy.
Future's now, old man.
All right, Tundra faithful, after delving into the depths of financial folly and ballistic bravado, we've arrived at the piece de resistance of our questionable decision-making journey. Let's talk about the king of overcompensation, the military hardware hoarder. This is for the individual whose idea of a home decor theme is early 21st century warzone chic. Their motto? Why settle for a replica when you can have the real treaty-violating thing? Meet the aficionado who looks at the nightly news not with concern, but with a shopping list. With cruise missiles zipping through the Middle East and Eastern Europe like candy at a fat kid's quinceañera, our hoarder is on eBay trying to figure out if lightly used applies to armored vehicles and SAM systems. Their collection isn't just jaw-dropping, it's a UN resolution waiting to happen.
It's not a military helicopter. It's a rescue helicopter. The law's on our side.
The military hoarder's idea of a weekend project isn't just restoring a classic car, but rather seeing if they can get that decommissioned tank running again, because, let's be honest, you never know when you're going to need to invade your neighbor's yard with overwhelming force. Their living room isn't adorned with things like family photos or paintings, but with landmine casings and the occasional unexplained artillery shell. To them, home security literally means anti-aircraft weaponry, because why have a boring old alarm system when you can make a Black Hawk pilot second-guess his flight path and life choices? So if your idea of a fun afternoon involves browsing a surplus military auction and wondering whether or not you can convert a missile silo into a man cave, you might just be the military hardware hoarder. Just remember, when the ATF comes knocking, just don't be asleep at 6 a.m. in your bed. Let's introduce our next contender in the arena of questionable financial decisions, the Tactical Gadgeteer. Their approach to firearms isn't just about firepower. It's about turning every outing to the range into a NASA-level mission, where every single shot fired is accompanied by at least 3 posts on Instagram. So, what's a Tactical Gadgeteer to do? Well, of course, they own the night with a $40,000 pair of GPNVGs. These night vision goggles make you the Navy SEAL of your neighborhood watch, able to spot a raccoon's nefarious plans from over 100 yards away. Sure, you might not have any actual enemies, but still, when that Amazon delivery driver mistakenly walks up to your door at dusk, you're going to be ready to execute a flawless, if entirely unnecessary, tactical takedown. When the world asks why, the Tactical Gadgeteer proudly answers, why not? I mean, sure, your methods are about as subtle as a sledgehammer to the face, and your gadget collection is more likely to be used by your bored kids than any tactical scenario at this point, but that's not really the point, I guess. The point is, when the aliens land and the zombies arise or whatever, or when the squirrels finally organize, you, my friend, you'll be standing ready, or more accurately, sitting comfortably in your climate-controlled command center, surrounded by tech that could have funded a small country's coup, wondering why nobody ever came to your backyard barbecues anymore. Subscribe, folks. I gotta fart real bad. There we go.